Hey everyone, welcome back to my basement studio, my makeshift basement studio for now. Thank you for being here, and I hope you're having a great week. I like the topic of myth busting, so let's bust another myth this week. And that myth that I want to help you bust and the mindset that I want to help you shift is that you can't do life without a credit card nowadays. Everything's digital. You need a credit card to do life. And I'm going to bust that myth because yes, you can do life without a credit card. In fact, my husband and I do it, and we've done it without a credit card. We've been debt free, credit card free for the better part of 2 years now. So it's not that I think you can't successfully manage and handle credit cards as a tool, but a majority of us struggle in that area because why? Because credit cards are so easy to swipe and spend, and there's no hard limit on that until you bump up against the credit card max. But it's so easy because if you get that one impulse buy, nothing's telling you you can't, because there's no pain that you'll overdraft your bank account and things like that. So I've done it both ways, and I'm going to tell you why I like doing certain things with cash basis, and I'll explain what that means. But I've experimented with my own life, my own finances, and I found that yes, you definitely do spend more, even on just a small percentage more, because there's not a hard stop at the end of your month. There's nothing on your credit card that lets you put a limit on your spending for the month if you're trying to stay within your budget. That's really up to you to manage when you're using a credit card. And this is why I'm going to introduce the idea of a digital cash envelope and why I love them, why my husband and I use this method for a few areas of our personal finances, and I'm going to explain what that is. So, some of you may have heard of the concept of a cash envelope, and what that is you're specifically designating a chunk of money to a specific type of spending. So it could be food, it could be personal, it could be gas or transportation, and you're taking that cash out, for example, and putting it in a physical envelope. You'll see people even just sell a cash envelope system online, which is awesome. And these people are doing great. I've seen a few videos of one particular woman who just makes it fun to put your money into cash categories and take your cash out of the bank and put it in those categories. That works great for definitely some people. But if you're one of the people who your mindset just kind of has a hard time getting around, like taking the physical cash out, what if you want to buy something online? Because everything in this world is accessible online, it feels like. Maybe you do some of your grocery shopping on Amazon. Maybe you do some recurring purchases that are part of your normal finances and lifestyle online. And it just isn't practical to do everything cash, meaning going to the bank and taking it out, putting it in an envelope. So here's what we do in our household. We have three categories that we designate for three specific spending. It's our food, category 1, our gas and transportation, category 2, and our personal spend, category 3. How do we manage that? I am a big proponent and advocate for systems that help take away the thinking, help take away the noise from how you do life, so you don't have to always be bogged down by the minutia of transactions and things, and where does this fit, how do I categorize this. Make it easy on yourself. So what we did is we went to the bank. My husband and I opened, and this was before I even got married, I did this, we just now do it in a joint account. We opened up accounts at our bank, and banks are happy to help you do this. You can go there and tell them what you want to do, they'll get you set up. We opened up a distinct account, a separate account for a checking account for our food, a checking account for our gas and transportation, and we each have our own checking account for our personal spend. And we have access, because we do our finances together. It's not that there's anything secretive. We have joint access to all three of those accounts. We each have our own debit card for those accounts. I have access to my husband's personal account. He has access to mine, but we like to leave surprises for each other. So when we put money in there, it gives us opportunity. We don't go poking around, but it's just showing that we trust each other with our finances. So we do have access to our personal accounts. I just choose to let it be because I like surprises too. So that way we can surprise each other with gifts and things like that. So this is what you do. How do you figure out how to set that up? You go to the bank, you set up the accounts, get joint ownership on that if that's the place you're in, if you're married or doing finances together. And look back 3 months. I love the 3 month rule. Look back 3 months. Take a look at your spending in those three categories. Just start somewhere. Even if it's not all three categories, start with your food. Look back 3 months. Think about how you spend your money and track. Go through your, whether it's your credit cards or your bank statements, and track how you've been spending in those categories. We do a lot of shopping generally at Walmart, so I'll use that example. We don't have just food. Sometimes it's paper towels, sometimes it's household. So we kind of group our food, household necessities, toiletries, all that stuff into one budget. So instead of splitting hairs saying, okay, we're getting something that's not food and having to split the receipts up, we just say, what's our average spending at Walmart, for example? And we kind of drew a line in the sand, said, let's start with that. Let's see how we do. Let's put that money from our paycheck directly into that checking account. And now we have access to that all month, both of us. So when we swipe, you get instant access to how much you've spent and what your remaining balance is. And so it holds us accountable, which is awesome because either one of us can go pop right into our bank app, see exactly what the spending is. So this is a great alternative to people who, if you're a little averse to sending your account information to a budgeting tool or a budgeting app, this is a great way. It's just worked really well for my husband and I. And you see real time what your spending is. Your debit cards are protected the same way as a credit card is if you choose the credit option at checkout, meaning you're not putting your PIN number in. You can still put your PIN number in because it does give you more real-time balance status updates when you use your PIN number. But I'm going to challenge you. So my practical challenge for you today is maybe think about doing that with your food. Start with your food because you feel it when you're spending money in a category that is very practical. And then you start to gauge, like, what are your spending habits? Like, do you tend to go through the food store and just grab stuff without thinking about it, which was always me? I was like, oh, I just walked the aisles and picked stuff out that was appealing to me. We're much more intentional about it now because we realized we were throwing a lot of food away because we just weren't using it because we didn't really have a plan for it. So we like doing a menu for the week and we shop around our menu. So that's fun for us because we're like, yeah, let's get this. It eliminates the gray for me because instead of me going to the food store going, I don't know what I want, let me just go and pick what's appealing and we'll figure out a plan around that. Instead, we do it the other way around now and we plan our meals. Generally, we have room for flexibility. We're not rigid about it, but that's a great way to start. That's a digital cash envelope. That's what I really love about how we've made the switch to hold ourselves more accountable in our personal finances. Try it with your food. Get a gauge for that. Give yourself 3 months to feel it out. Make some changes, but it gives you the flexibility that you're not locked in. If you need more money for food or whatever, go take it out of your primary checking account, or maybe you're trying to make the transition off of credit cards. You still have that comfort of the baby steps. I'm a big fan of baby steps. Start small. And when you get excited about the success that you're experiencing in those small ways, you'll get excited about, how do I do this better? How do I do this different next time around? What did we learn this time around? What do we want to enhance? Another great point, just a practical tip, is you might start realizing maybe there's ways that you can save money on certain things in your food spending. I share this in one of the opportunities to save $1,000 fast for your emergency savings, but if you're finding yourself buying a lot of prepared foods and you have the time to maybe do some of that prep yourself, that's an excellent way to save money at the food store. Is the more you prepare at home, the more you're willing to do the work yourself, the cheaper it is to buy it at the food store. The more work they're doing for you, they're going to charge that convenience fee, which is what I like to call it. And you pay a higher price for prepared food, the vegetables that are cut up, the packages that are smaller. But maybe that's what you need in your lifestyle. You decide what you can afford. You can either afford time or money. And if you're really trying to find more space in your finances, maybe you can justify carving out a little more time to do that prep, or to hold yourself accountable to spend a little more time in the kitchen meal planning. Whatever it is, I encourage you to try that out. It works great. I'm not looking to change it because it works so well for us. So I love hearing from you. Put it in the comments what's worked well. I want to learn from you too. If you're doing something that works well and it's helping you slay your finances and take control of your finances, tell me about it. I think we learn best together. So my reminder to you is it's not always easy, but it is always worth it. And you're going to find so much joy when you get freedom to say yes to doing more of what you love when you take control of your finances. So go out there, do that. Think about that for next week. What change can you make to put you towards that baby step of taking control of your finances? See you next time, and I look forward to it. Bye.